Now, of course, the Winnipeg Jets have started the NHL season absolutely amazing. I believe it is the best start in NHL history as they are 15-1, the only single loss coming to Toronto on Monday Night Prime. So in today's video, I'm going to be relocating them to a more marketable city because we all know if they started out 1-15, Gary Bettman would already have plans at relocating them to a new state. Considering Winnipeg is not really a dire destination for top free agents, they never were. But somehow this season, they have just turned into the greatest team of all time. So why not give them another opportunity in a different city? So here we are, a brand new franchise in the NHL, the Miami Vice, a sunny state, no state income tax. They can attract free agents and no longer do the players have to play in the cold murder capital of Canada, which of course is Winnipeg, a dangerous city. Climate is pretty bad there. And now here in Miami, they're not only going to have better jerseys, but hopefully be a better franchise and eventually go on and win a Stanley Cup, as I will be helping them along the way. I'm not going to put too much effort into it. I think the Winnipeg Jets already have built a pretty good team. Overall, the roster is pretty good. I mean, we got Scheifele, Ehlers, and Kyle Connor on that first line. A young guy in Cole Perfetti at 22 years old is already an 85. Gabriel Velarde's there. Nino Niederreiter, Adam Lowry somehow is in the captain, and that's not going to last too long with me being the GM. I definitely would like to round out the bottom six a little more defensively. Josh Morrissey is our stud of the future. Neil Pionk is there. I would like to improve our defense core a little bit as well, but we got a stud in goal. Connor Hellebuck, 31 years old at a 93 overall. So already we're going to be a very good team. Now I will have a limit on this. I only have 5 full seasons to win the Miami Vice a Stanley Cup. Otherwise, it's a complete and utter failure considering Winnipeg right now is literally in a win now mode. Now, first up, the first trade I'm going to make is Nicholas Hague from the Vegas Golden Knights. He's got a cheap deal. He only has 1 year left, which is a little bit of a concern, but I'm in a win now mode, so I don't really care. We're going to give up a defenseman prospect, a 3rd, 5th, and a 6th to the Vegas Golden Knights. And that is a successful trade. Not too much deliberate about this deal, so we definitely bolster our D-core by a little bit. We get a little bit better. Next up is going after another depth defenseman in Kesselring from Utah for Barlow, a 3rd and a 5th round pick, so we're not giving up too much right now. Just in change, getting back a very good defensive defenseman who can definitely help out the depth of our defense core right now here in Miami. It's time for a big boy trade. Casey Middlestat, he's got $5.4 million on his contract, 3 years left. He's top 6 low. I think he's like an 86 overall, still only 25 years old, so he's very young. For Brandon Yeager, Lucius, and 2 second round picks. I'm going to remove one of the second rounders to see if we can kind of steal him from Colorado. No, we're definitely going to have to add in the second round pick just to sweeten this deal just a touch to make it go through, and there we go. We believe this transaction will contribute to the success here in Colorado. And for the final trade that I will make before we go ahead and simulate, I'm going after JJ Peterka. He does have 1 year left on his deal. I do believe we'll have the cap to sign him. We got Lambert, a 2nd, 3rd, and a 4th in the trade, and there we go. An absolute no-brainer here by Miami. Here's a look at our new forward core. We get a +5 still with Ehlers, Scheifele, and Connor. Cole Perfetti will slot in nicely alongside Middlestat and JJ Peterka. And then we got Velarde, Lowry, Nino Niederreiter, and Mestikov with Appleton and Iafallo. Defensively, we also got a lot better. We can even throw Hague up there on that first line and then go Kesselring and DeMelio, Sandberg, and Pionk. And finally, in goal, of course, a 93 Connor Hellebuck. And I do not even care. It has Kyle Connor as the captain right now. I know Adam Lowry is the one who holds it in real life. We're going to have a brand new leadership core here in Miami. The captain will go to Mark Scheifele just for that hit on Jake Evans many years ago. It was a clean hit. We'll go Kyle Connor with an A, and of course Josh Morrissey will get an assistant captaincy on the back end. And there you have it. Miami has a brand new leadership here in the same exact roster essentially. So far Miami is somewhat struggling. I mean, we're 22, 15, and 6. A lot of regulation losses hovering around. We are in the Atlantic. I forgot to mention I did move us considering Florida and Tampa both play in the Atlantic Division. I thought it was only fair if we threw Miami in there. So obviously the Atlantic has a better division than the Central, but right now we just need to focus on getting wins, get to the postseason, and hopefully we have enough magic that can get it done. I don't think I'm going to go after anybody here at the trade deadline. We have a pretty good record. I could go after Jacob Chikrin. He only has 1 year left on his deal. They want a First line forward in return, I might try to offer them like a first round pick instead. Outside of him, there's not really anybody that I would want to go after. I am going to try a first, seventh, and a third for Jacob Chikrin. Hopefully this trade will go through, and there we go. Not too much deliberate about this deal. Maybe a little bit of an overpay, especially for a rental. But again, we only have 5 years in this simulation, so we have to go all in. Now, at the end of the season, we are going to squeak into the playoffs. We were the 5th seed in the Atlantic, 42, 30, and 10, 94 points. So just above that 90 threshold that usually teams make the postseason with. And again, look at our goddamn division, dude. We are absolutely stacked. The entire NHL, Vancouver was the best team. They won 53 games, followed by Colorado. Florida was up there, as well as Edmonton, Tampa Bay. Dallas had a good season. And at the bottom, we have the Anaheim Ducks with only 29 wins. Seattle was pretty bad. And the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedard, you need to wake up, son. Kyle Connor was our leading scorer. Surprisingly, only had 78 points and 29 goals. Mark Scheifele was decent with 77 points. Ehlers, I mean, we didn't have a single 30-goal man, so that's probably why we didn't do too well. Although Josh Morrissey put up a lot of points, Casey Middlestat definitely helped out, although he was a -8, which isn't great. Perfetti, decent season by him, I guess. And for Connor Hellebuck, he did his job. Cannot complain. A .917 save percentage, 5 shutouts, 35 wins. What is there to complain about that season, especially in NHL 25, where goalies usually don't simulate that well? We got David Pastrnak with the most points at 125. He also had the most goals at 73. Dear God. Rantanen had 61. McKinnon was up there at 59. Matthews. I think the strategy here in 25 is definitely build for offense, not defense, as the goal scoring is off the charts. We had a bunch of point men's as well. I don't even know what I meant by that. McKinnon had 124, Rantanen 122, McDavid 117. Brad Marchand, even at 36, is putting up a lot of points. Marty Necas, who honestly might have something similar in real life. He's on a tear right now. 27 goals, 106 points. And for goalies, we got Vasi having the most wins at 43, tied alongside Demko. Hellebuck was kind of up there with 35. And Hellebuck would be tied for the most shutouts in the league with a lot of other goalies who did have 5 on the season. And now in round number 1, we are going to go up against the Florida Panthers. So right off the bat, we got the reigning and defending Stanley Cup champions, which of course is going to be a tough matchup. Although Winnipeg in real life, they're on a tear. We know they're good in the regular season, usually not that well in the playoffs. Things are going to be different because we're not in Winnipeg anymore. We are in Miami. Now, I am going to imagine this series is probably going to be a lengthy one. I don't expect us to just blow by Florida here in 4 or 5 games. An 8-2 victory in game 1 is crazy. And what's even crazier is we got shut out 3-0 right afterwards. But right now, we're doing pretty good. Game 3 here in Florida or in Miami, we get it done 2-1. I'm just hoping to have a long playoff run here. I got a challenge. I got to win a Stanley Cup within 5 years. We're leading 3-1 over to the defending champs, and we end up shutting them out to close out the series in 5 games as we literally, I mean, Florida was not even a challenge. They were babies to us. We move on now to round number 2 to where we face the Montreal Canadiens in the second round. Montreal, I'm honestly surprised in year number 1 they made the playoffs, but maybe the sim engine is just on their side. They're down 2-1 early in the series right now. And just like the Florida Panthers, we closed them out before a game 7. Montreal did win an extra game, so I guess they gave us a tougher series than the reigning and defending champs. We move on now to face the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals. Things are not going too well here against the Carolina Hurricanes, down 3-1 in the series. Definitely our toughest opponent so far in the playoffs. And here we go. Game 5 in Carolina. They're trying to close us out, and we give up 3 goals in the second period. Stahl, Aho, and Svechnikov. Connor Hellebuck back to playoff form. Just great. Let's see what we can do in this third period. I don't really expect a comeback, if I'm being honest. We're down by 3. We're out shooting them 31-25, but I guess Connor Hellebuck just took a goddamn shot on a boss, mate. And that will do it. The Hurricanes will beat us 4-0 and dominate us 4-1, a gentleman's sweep in the conference finals. Now, I guess on the bright side, we did end up losing to the eventual champs in Carolina as they defeated Dallas in 6 games in the Stanley Cup finals. We got close in year number 1, 4 more to go. Kyle Connor was our best player. He had 11 goals and 21 points in the postseason. Scheifele had 17, Ehlers as well. Jacob Chikrin, our mid-season acquisition, had 8 goals as a defenseman. He might need to be re-signed. He's only 27 years old. As long as he does not ask for like a monster contract, we'll probably re-sign the guy. Nathan McKinnon will take home the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy. Art Ross and Maurice Richard to Pasta. Makar will win the Norris. We got the Conn Smythe to your mom's a hoe. Demko the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Austin Matthews from the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Pittsburgh Penguins, who were 10th place, went all the way up to first, and they won the draft lottery, which means they're probably going to take Jake Hagens or James Hagens, whatever the hell his name is, and maybe a possible rebuild is coming to the Pens a lot faster than probably Sidney Crosby expected. We are going to have to get back Nikolai Ehlers. He's a unrestricted free agent, as well as Jacob Chychrun, Gabriel Vilardi. He's an RFA, so he's probably going to end up staying. We got to get back Neil Pionk as well. So there are some guys that I would like to bring back to the team. We are going to get back Nikolai Ehlers on a pretty big contract. Alex Iafallo will come back. Neil Pionk re-signed. Mason Appleton. Jacob Chychrun, so he will stick around with Miami. And we pretty much got back everybody that I offered a contract, so we should theoretically be good moving forward. Okay, I have a serious issue right now. Why is Taylor Hall asking for $10.4 million at an 88 overall, 33 years old, not to mention? And Patrick Kane also, he's asking for $9 million. Granlund wants 11. Brock Nelson wants damn near $12 million. Like, what? I don't understand, EA. What happened to the expected salary? Why is it so goddamn high? How am I supposed to sign any of these free agents when they want like literal FU money? Now, as we move into the second season, we did sign Jeff Skinner to a pretty hefty contract. I'm not even going to show you guys. You guys are going to judge me for it. I know he's an 87 overall sniper. We get a +5 on that first line, which is good. And then we'll go Ehlers, Middlestat, and Vilardi. Third line will be Adam Lowry, Cole Perfetti, and Nino Niederreiter. I also hate the fact that EA cannot keep up with my movements here. It's very slow navigating these menus. Josh Morrissey's a 90 with Dixie DeMelio. We got Kesselring. Jacob Chychrun, maybe I'll throw him up. Nah, I'm going to keep him on the second D line alongside Neil Pionk, and then we'll go Kesselring and Sandberg. And of course, in goal, we do have Hellebuck at a 93 overall. We are back at the trade deadline, and yet again, I don't think I want to make a move on anybody. If Line A didn't have that horrible contract, I might actually trade for the guy, but outside of that, I think we're good for the postseason. We already have 37 wins, so we should comfortably, theoretically, make the playoffs 37, 21, and 3, as long as we don't fall off a cliff now after the trade deadline. Miami, yet again, will have a great season. 44, 34, and 4, 92 points. So actually worse than what we did last season, although we are 4th in our division. I guess Atlantic was a little bit weaker this season. If we take a look at the top of the NHL, the Oilers won 57 games, followed by Vancouver. Colorado is very good, as well as Toronto and Carolina. And at the bottom, we have the Calgary Flames, alongside Vegas, who I really did not expect to be this bad this early on. Chicago, they're probably going to be down here in LA. I could see them falling off, but Vegas, honestly, is a little bit of a surprise. Kyle Connor would lead our team with 30 goals and 93 points. Scheifele had 82. Jeff Skinner came in and had the most goals on our team, so that is a massive pickup. Nikolai Ehlers was very good, as well as Josh Morrissey. Both of them had 63 points. Middlestat hasn't really gotten any better, over 52. I know he's playing second line minutes, and Connor Hellebuck got a lot worse, man. Only a .903 save percentage, 1 shutout, and 32 wins. That is not going to cut it. The 93 overall, I just expect that man to be a lot better than that, if we're being honest. Connor McDavid, dear God, he would go ahead, not have the most goals. Psych. That would be Tommy Matthews with 63. McDavid at 61, past the 56. Rantanen was up there, as well as McKinnon. And Andrei Svechnikov with his first 50-goal season of his career. On the point side, McDavid had 142, Draisaitl 140, Pasta had 135, Hyman 126. I mean, these totals are literally bananas. Elias Pettersson's back to his normal self, 45 goals, 118 points. I literally have no idea what is wrong with this man. In 22-23, he had 39 goals, 102 points. Followed up the next season with a similar year. I mean, obviously less assists and less points in general. But then in the postseason in 2024, he had 1 goal and 6 points in 13 games. And in real life, he really has never gotten back to that 103-point form. Demko and Stuart Skinner will tie for the most wins at 43 apiece. For the most shutouts in the league, that would be Devin Levi, tied alongside Igor, Monty, Kochetkov. UC Saros is there, as well as Andrei Vasilevsky. And now in round number 1, we will face the Carolina Hurricanes, who did beat us in the Eastern Conference Final and go on and win the Stanley Cup. So there's a lot at stake here. We got to get a revenge and go on another deep playoff run. We are currently up 3-2 in the first round over Carolina. It's been a very tight series so far, and now we have the opportunity on home ice to close out the series and move on to round number 2. After the first period, we hold on to a 1-0 lead, and it's all knotted up in the third as Carolina and Miami going back and forth. Robinson will score and take the lead on Connor Hellebuyck. Short-handed. We gave up a short-handed goal. Are you kidding me? I really do not want to go to a game 7 back in Carolina. Come on, 5-on-3. 5-on-3, and we literally cannot do anything. This is a literal shame. And there you go. Marty Natchez will seal the deal, and we will have a game 7 back in Carolina. All right, here we go. Winner take all, game 7. We got a 4-1 lead in the third period, so Miami definitely showed up to play. 4-2 Robinson. Again, thank you, Nino Niederreiter, for regaining that 3-goal lead. We definitely needed that halfway through the third period here. Miami trying to hold on to this lead and win the first round matchup, getting a revenge over Carolina. 3 minutes left to go, and we will do it. We will dominate them 7-2 in a game 7 and move on now to round number 2. We are now going to face the New Jersey Devils in the second round of the postseason. By year number 2, they're probably a very good team. Obviously, a lot of young guys on their roster that probably developed very nicely and are even higher of an overall right now. But things are not going good. They are down 3-0 in this series. They win game 4 to force at game 5. Please, Miami, just close the show. Oh my God, we lost 2 in a row. Are you kidding me? Can we please just get this done and move on to the conference final? 3-1 lead in the third period. There we go. We dominate the Devils in 6 games. And we are back to the conference finals for a second year in a row as we play an older team in the Washington Capitals, who did get a lot better over the offseason. Ovi, I believe, is still playing. He's got to be like 40, 41 years old at this point. We would absolutely steamroll the Capitals 4 straight games, sweeping them in the process. And now we meet the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals. And here we go. It all comes down to this game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Miami and Edmonton, and heading into the third, we're all knotted up at 2 apiece. Please, Miami, do not fail me now. We come so far in the last 2 years. Back-to-back conference finals appearances, made the Cup Finals. And with 4:54 left to go, Mason Appleton will get a power play goal on Stuart Skinner. There is only 1:51 left in this game. I'm gonna have to hop in. Well, here is the moment of truth. 34 seconds left to go. It's a 1-goal lead for Miami, and I'm honestly scared to death right now. The Oilers already emptied their goal. That's not good. Draisaitl coming in. Doesn't get a shot off. Thank God. Josh Morrissey, get that puck out, dude. Come on, move it. Moves it around to Dixie DeMelio, who's getting bodied right now. 22 seconds left to go. McDavid to Ekholm, blasting a McDavid rebound. Come on, please get the puck out. Oh my God, boys, get on the puck. Jeff Skinner loses it in our own end. This is not good at all. Connor Hellebuyck has like no energy, but it does not matter. 5 seconds left, and the Miami Vice in their second season ever will go all the way and win the Stanley Cup, as the Winnipeg Jets got relocated and immediately won a Stanley Cup, something that franchise has never done in their entire history. And GM passed it with all of his trades, everything he did. I believe we made a very successful roster back-to-back seasons. I mean, even last year we made the conference final, had a very close outing against the Carolina Hurricanes. And this season we end up going all the way. Josh Morrissey is the Conn Smythe winner. 4 goals and 23 points. A defenseman winning the Conn Smythe is something I did not expect, but nonetheless, I'm very happy about. And there it is, the Stanley Cup being raised in Edmonton. But unfortunately for all the fans here, it's not for the Oilers. Instead, the newest team in the NHL, which is the Miami Vice, being relocated from Winnipeg was a blessing in disguise, as Mark Scheifele, the captain, will raise it for the first time in his career, and Miami has a Stanley Cup. In the postseason, Kyle Connor was our best player. He only had 4 goals, but 27 points. Mark Scheifele had a very good playoff run. Ehlers was very good. So I am a little bit surprised to see Josh Morrissey get the nod for the Conn Smythe. Leon Draisaitl will win the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy. Art Ross to McDavid, Maurice Richard to Matthews. Quinn Hughes will win the Norris. We got Josh Morrissey, the Conn Smythe. Igor the Vezina, who now plays on Washington. And Sidney Crosby will take home the Selke. Well, that is going to do it for this video, as I successfully relocated the Winnipeg Jets for being good in the National Hockey League. And then, of course, Miami won a Stanley Cup in year number 2. Something that Winnipeg is still trying to do for the first time in their franchise's history. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave some support on it. I would like to say thank you all for watching. And until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.